Surely you have heard the saying, money is not everything, but if you do not know how to use it, you will never have true freedom. It is not just a reminder, but a philosophy of life that has been proven through hundreds of years of history. People have always sought freedom, but few people realize that financial freedom is the key to open countless doors of other freedoms. Freedom of choice, freedom of experience, freedom of creativity, and even freedom to be true to themselves. When it comes to money, most people often think of stress. They worry every time they receive a utility bill, when they think of a bank loan, or when they look at a small balance in their account. But money, in essence, is not sinful. It is just a tool. The problem lies in how we treat that tool. One person can use a hammer to build a house. Another person can use a hammer to break everything. Money is the same. It can be the seed to plant a prosperous future, or it can be the chain that holds people in a spiral of misery. The interesting thing is that both rich and poor people hold the same tools in their hands. Money does not discriminate who you are. It only reflects how you use it. Poor people see money and think about satisfying immediate needs. Rich people see money and think about planting it to have future harvests. That difference at first glance seems small, but over time, it creates a huge gap between the two lives. Imagine two friends of the same age, same starting point, same salary. One receives his salary and immediately plans to buy a new phone, spends the weekend going out, eating out, entertaining, and ends every month with an empty wallet. The other is different. He looked at his salary, took out a portion to save, a portion to invest in stocks or some small fund, and most importantly, a portion to learn new skills. As the years passed, one person became more and more tired because money was never enough, while the other gradually accumulated capital, had better job opportunities, and finally got closer to financial freedom. They both started from the starting line, but their thinking led them to different destinations. Warren Buffett's story is the clearest proof. He did not become rich by winning the lottery, nor by random luck. From a young age, he considered each coin as a seed sown in the stock market, and then that seed over time grew into a forest. People admired his hundreds of billions of dollars in assets, but few knew that it was his patience, discipline, and the way he viewed money that made Buffett who he was. He did not chase after instant gratification, but chose to sow for the future. Meanwhile, there are many people who work hard all their lives, but in the end still cannot raise their heads. They work hard from morning to night, but the money they earn quickly disappears in short-term fun or useless expenses. They buy a new car to prove their success, while the bank loan makes them burdened. They buy branded goods to see that they are incomparable to anyone, while their accounts are gradually depleted. They think they are living in luxury, but in fact they are buying long-term poverty. Robert Kiyosaki once wrote in Rich Dad Poor Dad, "Rich people buy assets. POO are people buy liabilities. Assets are things that put money in your pocket, and liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket." But the sad thing is that most people do not distinguish. They think the house they buy to live in is an asset, while in reality it only costs them money in maintenance, repairs, and taxes. They think the new car is a symbol of wealth, while it only depreciates every day. The rich don't see it that way. They buy apartments to rent, so that every month there is a steady stream of cash flowing into their pockets. They invest in businesses, so that their assets increase in value over time. They know that to become rich, you have to put your money to work, not let it sleep or disappear on short-term desires. Another difference is how they manage their cash flow. Poor people often do not have a clear financial plan. They receive their salary, spend it, and wait for their salary again when they run out. Everything happens in an endless cycle. Rich people have a strategy. They know exactly how much they earn, how much they spend, and how much they invest. They are disciplined with the principles they set for themselves. T. Harv Eker, author of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, once came up with the 6 jars method. Divide your income into 6 parts, 1 part for essential expenses, 1 part for savings, 1 part for investment, 1 part for education, 1 part for entertainment, and 1 part for charity. It sounds simple, but it is that simplicity that creates habits, and habits, accumulated gradually, become a big difference. Of course, we cannot talk about wealth without ignoring the most important factor, investing in ourselves. Poor people often only work to earn money, rarely thinking about improving themselves. They stop at a skill, a job, and hope that time will bring safety. But today's world changes every hour. If you don't learn, you will quickly fall behind. The rich understand that. They see themselves as the most profitable investment. Warren Buffett once said, "The best investment you can make is investing in yourself." Bill Gates spends his vacation just reading books. Elon Musk teaches himself about aeronautical engineering to found SpaceX. Oprah Winfrey went from a poor girl to a media icon thanks to constantly cultivating knowledge. They are not innate geniuses. They become great because they know how to nourish their intelligence with knowledge, and know that knowledge is the only kind of asset that cannot be lost. You can lose money, but if you have knowledge, you will earn it back. But if you don't have knowledge, once money is lost, you lose everything. When we look at those people, we see that money is no longer just money. It becomes a manifestation of thinking. Poor people spend money to fill the void of the present. Rich people use money to open the door to the future. One person sees money as a passing wind, coming and going. One person sees money as a seed, sown today to reap tomorrow. So, money is actually a measure of each person's philosophy of life. If you consider it a tool to spend for fun, you will forever have to chase it. But if you consider it a means to create, you will have freedom. And the question is, do you want to become a slave to money? Or do you want to make it your loyal servant? Do you want to wear a rich appearance? Or do you want to truly live in inner freedom? Changing the way you use money is not as difficult as you think. It does not start with billion-dollar investments, but with the smallest habits. Record your daily expenses to know where you spend them. Before each purchase, ask yourself, is this an asset or a liability? Invest at least 10% of your income, even if it's a small amount. Spend 30 minutes a day reading a financial book or learning a new skill. Create your first source of passive income, even if it's very small, but it will open the door to bigger opportunities. And above all, remember that the difference between rich and poor people is not how much money you were born with. It's how you use the money you have in your hands today. Poor people spend money to live in the present. Rich people invest money to buy the future. Your future will be determined by this choice. So, are you ready to change the way you think about money? Start by changing your spending habits, investing in things that can generate profits in the future, and don't forget to learn to increase your self-worth. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel to receive more videos about personal finance. Wishing you a successful financial journey.